I did see the e-girl drama breaking out on Twitter, and it's just so gross. It's so gross for so many different reasons, but like I read through these like group chat take, and like it is such an obvious demonstration of like the worst aspects of like hyper online Twitter individuals who like present themselves as like super woke or whatever on the internet. Meanwhile, in the group chat, they're just like behaving in like psychotic ways. I mean, it's just literally, this is like just being a bad person in general. The summary is just everything that you hate about like the way particular people tweet, where they're like over the top, uncharitable on Twitter. Everybody does this stuff to a certain degree. There's this one girl who apparently was like suspended off of Twitter and got unsuspended. And the people in this group chat were the people who caused her to get suspended. But when she got unsuspended, she was still in the group chat and was able to read all of the conversations that were happening in the chat about her specifically. I need her canceled immediately. Flames emoji. Listen, if there's anything anyone can come to me for, is I'm scared to post because of her. I don't know what this means. I hate drama so much. Nah, that's fair. Me too. I hate drama, and I'm positive I can. And she's like insane. We unironically look at this and absolutely go, yes, queen, on Twitter especially, and on TikTok too. There are so many people like this. Petty, it's gross, you're just like a bad person. Like there shouldn't be any additional like systemic analysis about how women behave or whatever off of this. These are just like bad people. That's it. Yeah, they hate themselves, they hate everyone else. It's just like unhinged behavior. This is why This is why I never talked about why I actually stopped doing it. If it wasn't the subs or the men on Twitter, it was the women in the community who were so full of hate and jealousy. It's so funny looking at the comments, seeing certain people comment being like, wow, that's awful, when they literally stood by and watched two of them talk about me like this for almost 2 full years and still chose to support them, turn a blind on everything so fake. Yeah, it's just like people are so sad. There's people like this in this community as well. People in their weak moments have said horrible things as well. And I'm telling you, like, you got to stop. It's petty. It's gross. It's pathetic. I don't know. They all have egos. Oh, Rory, another thing Babby said about me was when I was overtaking Amber. Now it's okay. Honestly, they're so competitive. That's it. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people on Twitter have way too much time on their hands. And I can say this because I literally, when I was 17 and deranged, did the same. But now I just avoid them at all costs. But it's so weird that these girls will be fake nice and are grown. It's just like I'm reading this and it's such a specific type of, like, we've all been there. We've all seen it. This is like how some stan communities, like, just straight up, this is how they communicate. It's like a very specific type of communication that you see all the time. This like move from Tumblr to Twitter to TikTok. And like people think that this is, I don't know. It's just like a normal type of communication. It's just straight up insane. The unique aspect of this is, one, widely accepted, and two, is seen as like genuine, is seen as a substitute for like genuine social justice, and often conducted by people who are, and I talk about this all the time, like narcissistic and channeling their narcissistic desires by centering themselves in conversations that while grabbing on and latching on and hiding themselves under the aesthetics of social justice and progress. And when you hear this, when you see this type of communication, it's just you're behaving in this like incredibly manipulative way, but you're chronically online and you have surrounded yourself by people who see you as a virtuous figure. You prop yourself up as like every action that you're taking is actually a step towards social progress, a step towards justice. And it's not the case at all. And deep down inside, you're like an incredibly insecure human being. And there are ways that you can fix yourself. We've all been there. If you're ever in a progressive Twitter space, or if you're any online community, if you're in any online community, there are people who are just like incredibly miserable and deranged, but they're ostensibly leftist, right? You think that they're leftist, so they use your empathy against you, basically. They weaponize leftist causes to make it seem like what they're doing is about social justice, when it's not about social justice. It's just about like them maintaining clout and them being able to manipulate people. I mean, that first conversation is like perfect. I'm just going to act like this person lied, and other people will back me up in the group chat if I do that. with an effort to just like vilify someone for no reason. It's just a byproduct of being hyper online, just chronically online. That's what's different about this community, at least. That's why I think this community has the size that it's grown to the size that it's grown. It's one of the main points that I always specifically call out. I'm stating that a lot of people that talk like this, that are deep down inside personally not holding on to values that they claim to have in the way that they present themselves. That's what I mean. I hate when chronically online people make up fake Photoshop to make others hate someone, but that's it. End of thread. Uses so much filler. It's crazy. A monster. It's just chronically online people. But of course, this is going to attract some of the worst individuals on the planet as well. Because like a lot of these fan bases also have like chronically online weirdos who are like insanely hyper misogynistic and hyper vigilant about women behaving in this way, so that they can just, use as an example of how all women are like this. It's just a sad, pathetic state of affairs. I just wish people would be more charitable to one another. I wish people would be kinder to one another. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. You know what I mean? I just saw this and immediately it like zapped my brain, because it reminded me of like a certain type of communicating, and I see it in like leftist spaces and I despise it. It's very annoying. Yeah, I don't know what is this? I ain't reading all that. We're supposed to put context, and people are acting self-righteous, acting like they never talk about people. Anyone trying to cancel Usagi, send them my way. What does this mean? Does that mean? What are they going to do? Like who? Everyone? Anyways. Yeah, I mean, it's just talking. Yeah, exactly. There are a couple different avenues that you can go down when like this pops off. You just say, oh, I was just kidding. You took that seriously and that's your fault. You could say, I'm a neurodivergent, which is like a famous one that we all laugh at. I'm a neurodivergent. Like, why would you take me seriously? And it's like, you're right. I don't. But plenty of other people do not have. Like, unfortunately, we are still in the infancy phases of the internet, okay? Like living life in this online way. We are still completely oblivious to the way that it changes our attitude, our way of communication. I talk about this all the time. Like millennials, for example, all have old tweets. Most millennials did not realize that like everything that you put on the internet is permanent. Okay, that's why in like 2016 there was like a culling basically leading up, or like 2015, 2016 there was a culling of like millennials that people were literally taking at face value as though it like represents them now. You know what I mean? As though they didn't think that they were just like yelling into a crowded room by themselves trying to be funny or whatever. And a lot of people then deleted all that stuff, and that's great and that's fine. But Zoomers grew up with that understanding, so they behave differently, but they still have like these kinds of attitudes still. It's classic. It's just human behavior. We're just being so ruthless to one another and with no empathy whatsoever. But what I care about the most is stopping people in at least this community from behaving that way. The only thing that I care about is like who a person is now and whether they're genuinely trying to become a better person. Like Ben Shapiro it's valid to bring up his old tweets because they still reflect his current values. He's never turned around and said, I'm sorry for my old behavior. He's never turned around and been like, I'm actually a changed man. No, but then there are plenty of people, iDubbbz, Ethan, who have like genuinely changed their behavior and have truly reflected on things that they've done in the past. And that, for me, that is progress. Like, I'm not going to hold them to who they were, especially when they've improved. I myself am similar. Everyone has improved from their previous selves. Everyone in this community has reformed in some way. And I hope that, people can have that same level of empathy and understanding and charitability to my commentary that I usually give to others, especially when they are trying to change their behavior, or especially when there is something that you can do to be as kind as possible or trying to change people's change people's current values.